1, 2, 3. Very good. Now, you remember your names, right? Can you spell your names? Those of you whose names begin with the letter A, the letter B, or the letter C, please remain standing. And those whose names begin with the letter D to Z, please sit down. Now repeat after me. We are the ABCs. I am an ABC. Now, any of you D to Zs whose mother is a name A, B, or C, could you please stand up? Ah, look, there's a few more of you now. You too are ABCs. Okay, those of you still sitting, we're the D to Zs. We're pretty cool, aren't we? Oh yeah, look at you. Ah, you look so good. You look so healthy. You look so strong. Let's say D to Z, we're the best. D to Z, we're the best. D to Z, we're the best. Stamp your feet. D to Z, we're the best. Now D to Zs, we've had a pretty hard time of it, haven't we? How many of you have not got a seat on a bus recently? You haven't got a seat. That's an insult to us D to Zs not to get a seat on the bus. How many of you wonderful, strong, mighty D to Zs have had trouble with money recently? Oh, yeah. Not enough pocket money? Would you like a bigger house? Would you like more room? Would you like better holidays? Would you like to have more money? Let me tell you, D to Zs, your problem is standing right here in this room. Those ABCs, they're the ones taking the seats on the bus. They're the ones controlling all the money. Those ABCs, look at them. They all know each other, don't they? It's all a conspiracy. Those ABCs, they have secret meetings we don't know about. They have secret handshakes we don't know about. Let me tell you this, D to Zs, the ABCs, they're going to take over. D to Zs, let me tell you something. It is scientifically proven that ABCs are genetically inferior. It is scientifically proven that ABCs are genetically inferior to us. That means we are better human beings. Am I right? D to Zs, we're the best. D to Zs, we're the best. Look around you, look at these ABCs here, look at them. What should we do? How would we pick them out in a crowd? I think we should give those ABCs a badge. That way we know if one of those ABCs is on the seat on the bus that we should be sitting on. Because imagine how better our lives would be if there were no ABCs. There would be so much more space, wouldn't there? We'd have bigger houses, wouldn't we? We'd have more money. Let me hear you say, ABCs, out you go. ABCs, out you go. ABCs, out you go. And stop. Let's just give those lovely people standing up a huge round of applause and thanks. I know we're playing a game, but tell me, did you feel a bit uncomfortable?
Kind of.
Kind of, why?
Because it's really embarrassing.
Is it fair or unfair what I was just doing?
80% unfair.
So what's the 20%? Is the 20% because I'm standing here in a suit holding a microphone so I look like I know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Now, a very, very bad man who was himself a politician once said, if you tell a lie often enough, you will start to believe it yourself. How many times did I say that it is genetically proven? It is scientifically proven. How many times did I say that? Once? Twice. If we repeat a lie often enough, we'll believe it ourselves. So this 20% person over here kind of thought I had something going. How dangerous is that? Those of you who stood up as ABCs, put your hands up. Do any of you, except for those of you whose mother's also an ABC, did any of you lie? Are any of you actually not ABCs, but you were standing up out of solidarity and protection for your friends? Did anybody do that? Are you telling me nobody did that? You did. You stood up even though you're not an ABC. All of you would help your best friend if they were being bullied, am I right? But only one of you stood up pretending to be an ABC. If you'd all stood up, what would have happened? Now the point is, if you'd all stood up pretending to be ABCs, who would I have been? Some nutter at the front talking rubbish, am I right? I was talking rubbish, but most of you stayed sitting down listening to me, didn't you? You stamped your feet, didn't you? I was there, I saw it. Listen, the point I'm making is quite important here, because in this small room, in this 10 minutes, we've just created a microcosm of what happens in the world. And the word is prejudice. Do you know what that word means? Who stands up, who's someone who thinks they know what this word means and they can explain to us? Yes?
When somebody hates you for something you have.
For something you have?
Yeah.
Or something you are?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you all a question. Hands up who decided what color they would be when they were born. Oh, really? Did you? Hands up who decided what country they would be in when they were born. What, you decided as a little fetus inside your mummy's tummy what country you'd be in? No. These are things that we don't decide. If you're in a shop and there's something you want to steal, there's a lovely chocolate bar, but you haven't got any money. What are you going to do? Are you going to steal it, or are you going to walk past it and not have chocolate? Whose choice is that? That's your own choice, isn't it? To commit a crime. And what happens if you commit a crime? You go to jail. You get locked up. You get your freedom taken away from you. But the question is it a crime to be what you are? Have you committed any crime? Now, my grandma was born at a time when it was a crime to be born a certain way. Can you imagine? Now, that particular example, my grandma is Jewish. And to be born Jewish was a crime so bad that it carried with it the strongest sentence. Now, there were many, many people like her, and she told me lots of stories. One of them was when she was at school, her school friends spat at her. Is that nice or not nice? Has anybody been bullied so much that somebody spat at them? So for some reason, suddenly, my grandma was being spat at by children. But another example of solidarity was when she was on a tram, and it was not allowed for people who were wearing, she had to wear a yellow badge, a yellow star. And if you were wearing one of those, you weren't allowed to sit down on the tram. And do you know what happened? A girl who didn't have a yellow star, who had every right to sit down on the tram, stood up, like this one here. She stood up next to her in solidarity because she didn't agree with this stupid rule that if you were wearing a yellow star, you can't sit down on the tram. Has anybody been lost in the supermarket? Whoa, lots of people. Whoa. Is it scary? Someone tell me. How did you feel? You thought you'd lost your mummy and daddy?
Scared.
You were scared. How long did it last?
10 minutes.
And then you found your mummy? And it was all okay?
Yeah.
Well, all of these children never found their mummy. They were scared for much longer than 10 minutes. And they were put in a place in a very small town called Theresienstadt, Terezin. And in this place, they had no beds to sleep on. They had very little food to eat. And they were very, very scared a lot of the time. I'm going to read you a poem that was written by one of the children who was kept captive in this place at Terezin. His name is Teddy. When a new child comes, everything seems strange to him. What? On the ground I have to lie? Eat black potatoes? No, not I. I've got to stay. It's dirty here. The floor, why look, it's dirt. I'm afraid. And I'm supposed to sleep on the floor? I'll get all dirty. Hear the sounds of shouting and crying, and so many flies. Everyone knows flies carry disease. Oh, something bit me. What was that? Here in Terezin, life is hell. And when I can go home again, I cannot tell. There were 16,000 children. 16,000 children held captive. Only 100 lived to be parents and grandparents. We're now going to hear a song sung by